Jerry from Detroit. And then we have Mary.
Comrades and friends, why are the people in Puerto Rico still without electricity months after the hurricanes? It's because the electrical system in Puerto Rico, the electrical grid, was already destroyed before Hurricane Irma and Maria ever hit. It was destroyed by the banks who destroyed that infrastructure. PREPA took out $9 billion in loans to repair its infrastructure before the hurricanes. 75% of those funds and bonds, 75% of those bonds went not to repair the infrastructure, but to pay off crooked deals to the banks. In Puerto Rico, Wells Fargo issued a bond for $2 billion. By the time they tacked on their interest and fees and all their crooked deals, that bond cost the people of Puerto Rico $21 billion, 753% interest. I'm proud to say that in Detroit, the workers and retirees who work with us, especially in Moratorium Now, they feel a tremendous sense of solidarity with the people of Puerto Rico, because Detroit, an African-American city, has been similarly destroyed by the banks. It was the banks who targeted our city with 65,000 mortgage foreclosures in 4 years, based on every one of them based on predatory, racist loans, fraudulent loans, criminally fraudulent loans. And after they destroyed our housing base, drove 237,000 people out of the city, they put the city in bankruptcy based on equally predatory lending against the city itself with interest rate swaps, which are nothing but swindles. I'm proud of the role we played as a party in challenging this, both in the foreclosure crisis and in the bankruptcy itself. We were the one organization that raised the role of the banks in destroying Detroit, that called for canceling the debt. And we intervened in the bankruptcy itself and actually saved the city $200 million in a trial against the banks. And we're very proud of that trial, which was actually fortified by demonstrations every single day. Wherever there are education cuts, wherever there's housing, wherever there's cuts in water, in Detroit, we have people being cut off of water for $150 bills. Why? Because the water department took out $1.1 billion in bonds to allegedly repair infrastructure. $537 million of that $1.1 billion was paid in interest rate swaps, and they're nothing but swindle to chase Goldman Sachs. Every time that someone loses their water, we remind the people it's the banks who cut off that water. Wherever there are cuts, whether it's in education or housing, you can be sure in water, what's behind it is the role of finance capital. And I will say this, in Detroit we learned a lot. We FOIA'd every one of those bond deals. We studied them. None of us are CPAs. None of us knew it. We're a working class organization. But we became the experts in Detroit on fighting the banks. And we'd like to lend that expertise to comrades and friends wherever they are. I met with someone from a comrade from New Orleans yesterday. They're facing water cutoffs. And I said, let's look at those documents together. Let's fight with those housing cuts, education cuts. Look at the bond deals. With the banks are behind it. We say cancel the debt to the banks, whether it's in Puerto Rico, whether it's in Detroit, whether it's in Philadelphia, whether it's in Greece. We need to expropriate the whole system. Well, let's fight them, and we'd like to work with anybody to help in building that struggle. Let's build a workers' world.